Hello my friends! At the end of last year there was the 7th update video of me about a new transformable Digimon figure series of Bandai Tamashii Nations called Chou Shinka Tamashii series, or respectively Digivolving Spirits series. And now it's time for the 8th info update video, because there are again some exciting news to report from the official promotion page about this figure series of Bandai Tamashii Nations. So welcome back guys to an 8th update video. Short and painless. This time it's mainly about the interesting news about the 05 Chou Shinka Tamashii Digivolving Spirits Dorumon Alphamon figure, and also a few more further informations you will get with this too. This figure has already been shown on the various stations of the Tamashii World Tour together with Diablomon in Alphamon form, even before Tailmon and Jevomon came to them, but as you know, funnily he will got released after Jevomon. Since the setup of the site with the informations to the single points and the listed points itself is and are nearly the same like by the other previously advertised Chou Shinka Tamashii figures, so I will try my best to cut all of this very short this time. Of course, this time the usual informations they fitted to the Dorumon Alphamon figure, therefore I will be even shorter in this update video and comment on the points a bit with my own thoughts that come to my mind. And now it starts. At the top we have again as usual the promotion title image, which this time got a suitable design for Dorumon Alphamon, which also fits very well, like I think, especially to Alphamon's form, and reminds of the background in the computer animated Digimon X Evolution movie, even if the chosen colors are perhaps something other than in this movie. In this picture you can see the figure for the first time in full view in both evolution forms. This is especially true for Dorumon's form, which we could hardly see before in full form so detailed. As I said, you could see many pictures of the figure in Alphamon's evolution form before, and of course you can also see in this great picture very well that for the figure in Alphamon's form, the 2015 released S.H. Figure Arts Alphamon was the force behind the new transformable one. I think that for the transformable figure they overall taken the injection molds of the S.H. Figure Arts figure, done some remodeling on them, added the transformation joints as well as the parts of the Dorumon form to ensure the transformability and to create the new Shinka Tamashii figure. Probably not as much of effort as other figures might have been in the still young figure series, but even more impressive is the look of Alphamon's form, with which the S.H. Figure Arts Alphamon is almost identical. Through this, and you can only see a few kibble parts in Alphamon's form of Dorumon's form, as most of it was used for a good effect to create Alphamon's cape. Equally impressive is the fact that you cannot see any differently colored kibble parts of Alphamon's form on Dorumon's form, at least from this perspective. Tough, you have to say that Dorumon's shape is a bit too bulky and his tail is not quite as accurate. Nevertheless, I think, and as far as you can judge so far, that they have tried their best and both forms are nothing to sneeze at. That also in terms of the coloring. Below the set promotional image of the two are as usual the information for the reservation of the figure which started in Japan on Thursday the 1st of March. And again, the suggested retail price of 9,180 yen, which would be about circa 86 and 29 US dollars. So he would be even more expensive in the price than Caramon Diablomon. Underneath, as you can see, are the different colored update buttons with which you can switch between the different side sections, and to which 2 new ones have been added. Now we come to the first point, that is again the Digivolving. That again, as you can see, was accompanied by such a typical transformation image. And so we are at the first point, where we read following text about not only paintings that have been applied until detailed details, as well as changes in body color before and after evolution from Dorumon to Alphamon, reproduced as far as possible by perfect transformation gimmick. This time they even have replaced the wrong words, deformation gimmick, which I have repeatedly criticized in my previous update videos, with the right words by calling it finally transformation gimmick. That's just as if they had finally heard me. Isn't that funny, people? But joking aside, there is a big thumbs up from me for changing it. But they again misspelled the names of the 2 evolution forms of the figure. Well, you just cannot have everything. But no matter, I think to the whole you can, as previously mentioned in detail, only agree. And that brings us to the next point, the materials. In the Super Evolution spirit, we also pursue a sense of texture when taken in hands, head parts, chest parts, rings of the left and right arms, knee parts, various joints, etc. using die casting, highlight texture. Furthermore, the black part of the main body is matte texture, taking advantage of the molding color to a finish with a sense of quality. Whereby I cannot make such a rhyme out of it what they exactly meant with that. Since all black parts are looking rather matte colored, that would also be a difference to the figure arts Alphamon, by which for the most part all parts of the armor are shiny black, but there are some on him which got also colored matte black, mainly in the area of the chest and belly armoring too. That they almost all painted so matte black here is perhaps a matter of taste, because I personally prefer more the shiny colors for armoring parts if they are shown in the original rather shiny. I suspect that they meant it here because they had or wanted to inject the transformation joints more out of dull black plastic, so they adapted the color scheme of the armor parts to these. But in my opinion, looks the shiny color scheme of the armor of Figure Arts Alphamon somehow better, and therefore it makes also a more qualitative impression as the new transformable one. Of course, as far as you can judge now. However, it is also interesting to find out which parts of this figure are made of diecast, as it was by no means exactly clear which parts would it be on Alphamon. And that brings us to the second last point, the proportions. Alphamon, which is the 5th bullet preceding design and design newly as a lineup which had not been released in the past Super Evolution series. At the time of Dorumon, to the modeling which emphasized cuteness, at the time of Alphamon from the S.H. Figure Arts, further committed to brushing up. By modeling, we realize a silhouette that is beyond the action figure. You can really agree with that, because Doraemon's shape looks really good. It's cute, but maybe not quite as cute as Agumon or Gabumon, because Doraemon already makes a slightly more aggressive impression than the other two, and so on he looks something slightly more dangerous. But that somehow fits the evolution to the ultimate strong Alphamon very well. Also, Doraemon's color scheme is very detailed and the accurate colors were used, as well as Alphamon's form, which was at least as well detailed colored as his figure art's twin brother figure. And that brings us to the last point, which is again option and package. With which they meant, as you can see again, the option parts and the total content of the box. And like you can see, to this point the following has been written. Excuse me. The left and right wrist parts that produce Alphamon's special move, Digitally Owned Soul, and the pedestal at the time of Doraemon are also included as optional parts. And again, this is a similarity to the figure arts Alphamon, which also has this open hand with the fingers spreaded as an option part. But he has only the right hand as option part. This way I have looked at mine extra that I not tell you nothing wrong here. I am a bit surprised about the fact that Chou Shinka Tamashii Alphamon has such an additional hand pair for both arms. It is also the first figure of this new series of figures which comes with interchangeable option parts. As you can see, in addition is written to it that also this package is Charger's gold foil. Furthermore, we used the illustration newly drawn by Mr. Kenji Watanabe. And apropos, because I was talking about additional option parts, where the heck is Alphamon's transformable Uryuken blade, whose grey prototype we could already see in pictures together with Wargreymon? If you can remember, I showed these pictures at the end of the 7th update video. I also showed a picture of a sort of yearly and colored planning sketch where you could guess how Uryumon will transform into Alphamon's Uryuken blade. Officially now, the Doraemon Alphamon will not get released with this transformable Uryuken blade. If this part will eventually be available separately remains to be seen, but it would be of course a cool addition for Alphamon to make his transformable blade also official. If they already had this great idea for this. Actually, I had personally thought that they delayed Alphamon's release for this reason, because someone in the development team had a supplemental idea with the transformable blade, and so they preferred Tailmon and Angelwomon's release. Tough, Angelwomon came to them later on the Tamashii World Tour, but with this assumption I was wrong. So let's surprise ourselves. Below that, as you can see, is the link to the official product page of Doraemon Alphamon and the planned date for his release, which is scheduled for July 2018. Excuse me please. Below this, as you can see, there is another promotion image where Alphamon and Wargreymon were shot in a cool pose, as well as the smaller one on the lower right, which shows Doraemon together with Agumon too. And so I think that was it for Doraemon Alphamon. But we still have a very interesting picture on the side in the usual design with the 8 crest symbols from Adventure 01 with the inscription, "Who's next?" And there are 3 silhouettes of prototype figures in rookie form imaged. As you can see, on the left is Patamon, in the middle Tentomon, and on the right Gilmon of Tamers. We already could see a couple of pictures of the finished Tentomon as well as one picture of a painted prototype figure, but only in Tubemon's form. Gilmon's form we have not seen yet, but Patamon is new to it. From Tubemon there are already some new and breathtaking high quality pictures as well as from Tentomon, as you can see. And now there's another breathtaking picture. This one. An image where Tentomon can be seen in Adlerkabuterimon's form for the first time, or better, both together. Or, for us, Mega Kabuterimon. And there's also a little story about this picture. On the With the Will.net forum page was the following. I quote, "This weekend was Anime Japan, and while they didn't announce any big Digimon news there, we did one bit of fantastic information accidentally. Digimon Spirit 06 is Adlerkabuterimon from Digimon Adventure. The Tentomon Adlerkabuterimon figure was first shown off in prototype form as Tentomon last year at a Tamashii Nations event, and during a live stream at the same event they showed a super early prototype of the Adlerkabuterimon. This is our first decent look at the Adlerkabuterimon form of the figure. One might wonder how we ended up finding out about Adlerkabuterimon early, especially since Tamashii had been promoting showing it off soon as a part of a Twitter campaign. Well, look at the picture carefully. A small explanation in photo form from a prior Tamashii article. And so everything would actually be explained. And since this picture is really good, you can also say that the Adlerkabuterimon's form looks incredibly good. Contrary to what I personally suspected, you cannot really see any of Tentomon kibble in Adlerkabuterimon's form, at least in the outer area. You know what I mean. If you remember my words in the last update video, there I was speaking of my fear because Tentomon's form looks so perfect and good and has absolutely no kibble, that if Tentomon's form is so perfect and detailed and has this accurate look, could mean many of accurate looking Tentomon kibble on Adlerkabuterimon's form. People, I take everything back because I think this picture speaks for itself. But I also had a very strong suspicion that Tentomon's black dots would have to be logically seen on Adlerkabuterimon's back protector as well, because firstly, there cannot be two different looking back protectors due to space constraints, and secondly, Tamashii could relate to the real views of the figures in the other evolution form, which has been rather simplified. You can see that again on Tubemon's cape, with is the folded Gilmon. An extra cloth cape might have been useful for a better rear view of Tubemon's form, to cover the Gilmon parts from behind. But I digress again from the actual topic. However, I'm pretty sure I cannot detect Tentomon's black dots on the back protector of Adlerkabuterimon's form. This can only mean that they can be turned around for Adlerkabuterimon's form for an accurate rear view, and that's so great, as I think. I am as well as unclear how they managed to accommodate and hide all of the tough, very large and long parts of Adlerkabuterimon, especially on Tentomon's form. That you don't have any Adlerkabuterimon kibble in the outer area on the Tentomon form? Just wow! What an engineering feat Tamashii has done here. This makes Tentomon Adler Kabuterimon perhaps the most thoughtful and most successful and most well-designed Chou Shinka Tamashii figure so far. Incidentally, it should be mentioned that Tentomon's form can even open and spread its wing coverts, and that the figure was marked with a 06. Oh yes! Furthermore, a few pictures of Tailmon, Angewomon and Angewomon's in Angewomon's form without wings and without any Tailmon kibble. And finally, a few more pictures. Well, that looks very promising, doesn't it? This time was not explicitly pointed out that you should stay tuned for further developments in the Chou Shinka Tamashii series, but those pictures here also speaking volumes. And I think that it will not take long and they will present and show us more ready-made prototypes of the still missing Adventure 01 characters and maybe some more others at upcoming fairs. You can just continue to be very curious about what Tamashii will surprise us with in the future. So also stay tuned for more info update videos from me. Finally, there is another short news. But I also do not really know what exactly that means, since everything which would be main important to read and know about it is written in Japanese only. In any case, you can again take part in a new campaign from Tamashii that runs on Twitter. As well as, excuse me please, as far as I could read from the application informations, I think that it is a kind of photo contest where you should shoot photos of and with your own Chou Shinka Tamashii's characters and of the other Tamashii Nation Digimon figures. You can also win prizes, as you can see. However, people living outside of Japan cannot apply for the campaign anyway. Because of that again this picture is in the middle of it, and because of the progress bar below, I had first thought that it is a kind of voting where you can cast your vote which of the 3 figures Tamashii should release at next. Which is probably not so, and I tend more to the fact that is the photo contest and last mentioned things is something separate. Also, I read following on the With the Will page. Again, I quote, update. The Diablomon Festival Twitter campaign is up to 250 photo tweets. At 500 is when they do free prize packages, and 1000 is when they show new Digivolving Spirits figures. Out of it appears to be referring to a lineup rather than a singular figure. So perhaps if the number gets hit, we will get to see Holy Angelmon and Dukemon also. So I think so that we would also be through with this 8 update video. I would like to thank you as always for your attention and hope that I could tell you something new again. Saying goodbye and see you until the next update video, your Mega 88 1000.
色だろうだけど期待してても仕方